Fourth Avenue to Techwood Drive, O'Leary to Key. It's WreckTalk.
What is going on, everyone, and welcome to WreckTalk. This video, a little late getting it out. I've had some stuff going on, okay? I'm going to just continue to be Kramer. But before we talk about the 10-year Under Armour deal, let's talk about the season-long WreckTalk deal. That's right, King's Ransom. It's right here. Is the sponsor of the channel for this season. It's started by a Georgia Tech chemical engineering graduate. So you know it's good. We've got beard oils. My favorite is the Mountain beard oil, and it's no coincidence that since I've been using King's Ransom cologne and beard oil, Georgia Tech's undefeated. Is that any coincidence? Only truth now. Think back to that Wake Forest game. We're down 20-3. We're dead and gone. We're dead in the water. And a miracle happened. And I think it's because of King's Ransom. Now, you can use promo code WreckTalk. You can get a discount by going to kingsransomusa.com today. Promo code WreckTalk. Get you a little deal. And you can contribute to the winning streak and directly help the channel. So with that being said, let's get into today's video. Now, this came out Friday. Pete Thamel, let's switch screens here. Yeah. Pete Thamel, source, Georgia Tech and Under Armour have agreed to a new 10-year deal for Under Armour to become the official apparel provider effective July 1st, 2026. Now, that means that this is going to be the last year Georgia Tech has Adidas. So I think that deal, that started under Collins, I want to say in 2019, before we had Russell Athletic. We were the only team in college football, I believe, that had Russell. And look, I know a lot of people like the Russell jerseys, but when, you're the only one that has somebody, in this instance, not a great thing. By the way, did Kelly confirm this? I don't believe it unless Kelly's ass confirmed it. Did he confirm that? Okay, yeah. As he predicted. Sweet, good to know. If you know, you know. So we all got excited. I got some things written on the whiteboard behind me. We all did the same thing because this says from Pete Thamel, the deal is expected to be nearly six times more than the average annual amount that Georgia Tech is getting from the current Adidas deal. So I did this too. I get excited. I said, okay, well, what's the current Adidas deal? I wrote it up there, $3.11 million. That's cash a year. And so we all said, oh, six times 3, 18. Now, I screwed up the math while I was at work, typing in the Discord. But we said, oh, my God, $18 million, home run. This is fantastic. Great for Georgia Tech. $15 million more a year, $150 million over 10 years. Hell yeah, I'll take that. Before we look further into that, though, let me just say, as far as a fan, optically, however you want to look at it, do I like this? No. I mean, let's be honest. I'd much rather probably have Adidas or Nike's the biggest apparel brand. I'll show you the breakdown here. Now, this is not the most up-to-date numbers. In fact, I did not know anyone had New Balance as an apparel provider. Jordan is a subsidiary of Nike, so you can basically just say Nike has basically 71% market share in this uniform apparel market. Adidas is number 2, 16.9%, Under Armour 3, and then whoever has New Balance. Did surprise me though to see that Under Armour, they're about 50% less than Adidas. I thought Adidas was I didn't think they were less than 20% of the total market here. But Under Armour was very popular, like when I was in high school in the late 2000s. Like we got our Under Armour cleats. Mom, Dad, get me the Under Armour cleats. Let me get the visor. Visors were important. The Oakley visors or the Under Armour visors. And look, first of all, Under Armour is in an awful financial position. Let me go look it up. for 2025, net income minus $201 million. Total assets, $4.301 billion, which is down. Operating income, negative $185 million. It's not good, right? It's not good. So as far as me being a creator, like, yeah, we're going to get trolled for this a little bit. It's definitely not your first or second choice, just as far as the coolness factor. But here's the deal. That really doesn't matter a ton. What's the thing that matters the absolute most in college football today? Your NIL and how much money you can get to acquire players. That's the most important thing. Now, I don't think that we're going to have a player who we've matched everyone else's NIL offer to them that we're trying to get, and they're going to be like, man, you have the best NIL offer, but I don't want to wear Under Armour. I don't think that's going to happen. Now, we did have 2 players decommit this week. It doesn't have anything to do with this Under Armour deal, I'm fairly certain of. But yeah, look, we all did the math, $150 million over 10 years. And without any context or idea of what other deals are, we just kind of write that off as, okay, massive win. Let me ask you this, though. What's the biggest apparel deal ever signed for a school? Well, I'll show you. The biggest apparel deal ever signed was Texas. That was in 2015. It was a 15-year deal, so it runs through 2030. $250 million total deal, 15 years. That would be just shy of $17 million a year. It's like $16.6 million a year. I don't think Georgia Tech just signed the biggest apparel deal ever to be signed in college football history. And if you notice the verbiage here, he doesn't say cash, yearly. He says 6 times more than the average annual amount that Georgia Tech is getting from the current Adidas deal. Okay. Well, who else has Under Armour? Like Notre Dame has Under Armour. Now we know Georgia Tech does. Notre Dame, what does their deal with Under Armour look like? Well, they did it 2 years ago, I think, 2023. They signed a 10-year contract for $100 million, so $10 million annually. Do you think do you think Under Armour is paying Georgia Tech more than they are the premier brand in college football? No, probably not. Now, there's other things that I'm sure go into that. Like, I'm pretty sure that they can contribute to your NIL in some form or fashion. So maybe Adidas wasn't doing that. Under Armour is. The other thing to consider is, we certainly were, second fiddle to everyone else with Adidas. Adidas was just kind of a box they could check. Yeah, we got Georgia Tech in there, yada, yada, yada. Who really cares? We were kind of an afterthought to Adidas. We're going to be taken care of by Under Armour. They're going to want to work with us. We're going to be our priority to Under Armour. So all of that is definitely good. I think this is probably, look, Alpert knows what he's doing. I'm sure this was by far the best deal that we had on the table. I almost feel like the Adidas separation was probably mutual in some respect. I'm sure we wanted way more than Adidas was willing to pay. Under Armour's kind of on their last leg, and they're looking to, I'm sure, make a move, kind of turn things around. Georgia Tech's a team on the rise. It probably makes all the sense for both Georgia Tech and Under Armour to enter this deal here. And even on the Rumble Seat articles, you can see, so crank it up to $18.66 million a year, and now we're talking some real cash out of this. Again, that would, if that's the case, then we're getting paid more than Texas does by Nike. Is that reasonable? Do you think Georgia Tech just became the biggest brand in college football as far as apparel is concerned? No. So maybe more details will come out of this. I would think that Pete Thamel was told to phrase it like this by whoever his source is. But all in all, I don't hate it. It is going to inject more money into the program. You are going to become more of a priority with your branding partner. these are all good things. So let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think this is a good deal? Do you agree with me that this 18 point whatever million per year cash in hand is there's absolutely no way that's true? Do you think we became the richest apparel brand in the country? Let me know all that in the comments. We'll talk to you guys next time.